Hello YouTubes, and welcome to a rough and ready introduction to Naval Action. It's a game available as early access on Steam right now. Pay for the privilege, I have, but so far so good. I thought I'd create a quick introduction video for those who have just grabbed the game. There are a bunch of other fairly detailed videos on YouTube and other places. The forum's a good place to start as well. But this is should give the new starters a quick and easy introduction to what is a fairly complex game. Part of it's complex because the UI hasn't been finished or anything like that, so disclaimer here is that everything that you see is current as of the time of filming, but because it's alpha it's definitely going to change. But late January 2016, this is how it stands so far. So assuming you've picked a character and a side, I've chosen British. There's a few when you spawn, this is the first screen you're going to see, and there's a few things to note here. First, all the British, so we all start at Port Royal in Kingston, which is in Jamaica. That's where everyone starts because it's the capital of the time. And the other thing you need to note is that we have the basic cutter here. Now the basic cutter is free for all new or it's a free ship, and no matter how many times you sink, you will always be able to get another one at the port that you spawn at. So that's important to note, is that you don't lose anything by losing the ship, and in the early stages you're going to be grinding away in this thing. You're going to lose a number of them, but don't worry about it, don't fear the Reaper. You get them back at the port and it will cover you for now. There's only two things we really need to do before we hit the open seas, and getting XP obviously and progressing is the goal here. And to do that most effectively, head up to the missions tab over here and grab both of these missions. Now in the lower levels of the game, they're all pretty much the same. These give you search and destroy missions near ports that you're local to at the time. You can have up to 3, there's 2 here, so we'll grab them. Each give 50 XP and 2,000 gold. This 50 XP is on top of whatever XP you gain from doing damage to your opponent, and this is the main mechanism by which you gain XP in the game. You do damage, you get XP for it. So we'll take both of these missions. Going back to the home screen, the only other thing we need to do is down here there's the repair kits. Now they're important because we have the basic cutter, because we're just starting out. They're free and they're important to have, so why not load up? They let you repair your ship in the open world. It's cheaper to repair your ship in the later levels, cheaper to repair your ship in the port, but these let you do instant repair on the open world, so they're important to have, and at this stage they're free, so absolutely grab them. So I've got the repair kits, we've got our 2 missions, we have our basic cutter. That's all you need to know at this stage. We don't have any gold, so I'm not going to go into anything any details in the shop or anything like that. We're just going to go to the open world and set sail. So here we are in the open world. It's a nice evening here at Port Royal. Quite a nice little town, really. It's a bit bigger than a town, really, but so this is where all the British spawn. Can get quite busy. It's a protected place. That doesn't mean that you won't get people raiding the port. I've seen it happen. Generally quite busy, so Noob Alley basically. Before we go and have a look at the missions, there's a few things that I'll point out on this screen, and again it's all subject to change because it is in alpha. Actually, I'll just slow down, stop for this. Up here, so this button in the top left hand corner shows you all the stats for your ship. These will decline in battle quite quickly to begin with, and they can be repaired instantly in the open world if you have repair kits. So once you come out of battle, you can hit repair and it will start to add back to these stats here. You can teleport every 3 hours. Now that's convenient because you can get a long way from home, but also you can get lost. So and you know, there's a good chance it'll happen. So every 3 hours you can teleport back to home, or wherever you've nominated your spawn point to be. Current world time and how long you've been at sea. Over here we have the hold. It's for whatever you loot from other players, NPCs, and also what you're carrying to trade. Anything that's in this hold and you sink, you lose it. Upgrades for items that you buy into the ship, and obviously give you perks. So that's this screen there. The chat, pretty self-explanatory. The help channel is pretty helpful, which is nice. You've got questions asking there, they're generally pretty helpful. It speaks for itself. And then over here is the other important one. Now, I've seen a few people struggle with the concept, and so I will explain it here. WAS and D to go forward, back, left and right. There's the standard there. So I'll set my sails to full. And it's important to note that wind runs from a place to a place. So the wind is coming basically from the south, just southeast at the moment. So if get out of the way, empty. Just wait for this tool to vacate. Then there it goes. So if you sail up and in the face of the wind, watch what happens to the knots there. Again, this is basic, but I've seen a few people confused. It'll slow you down to nothing. You're not going far if you're sailing directly into the wind. I'm not going to explain tacking in this video. Maybe later, maybe. But the point is, it's going to be slow going if your bearing is directly into the wind. So the key now is, once we get clear of the madness of Port Royal, is we want to go and look for the 2 missions. And so you press M to bring up the map, and this should give you an idea of how damn big the place actually is. We're talking about 14 million square kilometers of sandbox world, so it's not a small place. And we'll see here that the missions that I've chosen have spawned up above, just to the north of Port Antonio. It's actually quite inconvenient since I'm down here. It's going to take quite a while to get around the corner. If you've just started out, most likely the missions will be down by Port Royal or Carlisle. If they're not, you can actually return them and just grab new ones, and they'll probably give you something closer to where you want to be. So I'm gonna sail around here, but the point is the missions can appear anywhere in this space. You don't know where exactly, and for new players, it'll take you longer to find than you expect, because there's a lot of ground to cover. So I'm going to sail around here now, and we'll go and find our mission and see what happens.